Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, well, you know we're not making it without you guys. So let's get open for business and let's wake up football here. I get into so much trouble here on the Jobu Sports Report. I am told how much of an idiot I am and how dare you do this or how dare you do that. Because before, when I've said things like, comparing where Dak Prescott is versus Troy Aikman, and it's like, oh my God, how could you possibly put Dak Prescott in the same conversation with Troy Aikman, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of the NFL? And I say, wait, hold up. I say, listen, if we're going to compare things, let's compare to where these guys were at the same time in their career. Clearly, there's a difference between Tom Brady, his first 2-3 years, versus Tom Brady, at the peak of his career. Clearly, there was a difference between Drew Brees when he was in San Diego versus where he is now in New Orleans. And that's generally speaking, you can look at Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson is far and away better quarterback now than he was his first couple of years, even though they won Super Bowls then. They had beast mode, they ended up having a great defense, and there were other reasons why they won the Super Bowl beyond just Russell Wilson. And so that's where I try and compare things, because you want to understand where you are in comparison to other greats in the NFL. But man, people, when I started talking about Dak Prescott's first 3 years last year, they were just like, you're wrong. Dak's going to be flipping burgers in a couple of years, man. There's no way in the world that you can compare the two of them. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to continue to do it just to tick off some of you people. So Kevin Milton, I know you're going to go ahead and send up some memes and stuff because you just hate Dak Prescott. I get this. But think back to last year when Troy Aikman was talking about Dak Prescott early this season. He said, when it comes to accuracy, either you got it or you don't. It's not something that you can learn. And at that time, Dak was struggling. Let's be fair about it. It was after the sophomore slump. And we started out the season pretty bad. Excuse me. I don't know why I've been so sleepy lately. But we did start out the season pretty bad. But things turned around. And let me play this clip. This was actually back in December. This is right after we lost to the Colts. And this was Troy Aikman basically getting joked a little bit about that comment.
You expect the Cowboys? You expect the Cowboys offense to pass right back here? It's all about timing.
I would expect that. Yeah, our timing's a little off right now. I would expect Dallas to bounce back this week, Kurt. I think if you look at what they've been able to do here at home, they're averaging 24 points a game, and they're 7-0 when they score 20 points in a ball game, and that may be required against this Tampa Bay offense that's obviously capable of scoring a lot of points themselves. But the Cowboys have had problems scoring in the red zone. They've had too many negative plays. They've had too many sacks, too many penalties, and quite frankly, here in the last few weeks, too many turnovers, and that's gonna have to be corrected, not only today, but also going forward, once they get into the postseason.
Ooh, postseason, that's interesting. Obviously, they're going to wrap up the NFC East, Troy. But I, for the like of me, was startled when the other day Ezekiel Elliott, the running back, said, well, losing to the Colts was a wake-up call. It was good for us. And I got to thinking about that quote, and I said, you got 3 games remaining in the season, and you need to lose to be awoken to the fact that you need to win these games. You are on a roll, playing great offense or better offense, and you were getting the ball to Amari Cooper. What the heck happened to him in Indianapolis? He was a no-show. And then to make that comment about we need to lose to wake-up call, Super Bowl teams don't need a wake-up call. They've already awoken, and they're excited about finishing out the season and winning into the playoffs.
They won't have to worry about a wake-up call. As much as Tampa turns the ball over, Cowboys are going to have plenty of opportunities. But I look at the Cowboys, though, right now, and as much as I like Prescott, at times he is inconsistent as far as his accuracies. And I want to ask Troy this. Troy, is accuracy, is it something that you can get better with repetition, or is it just something you either have it or you don't? Because I know you were one of the most accurate passers around, and he didn't have the checkdowns, Terry, that a lot of these quarterbacks have. Can you improve accuracy?
Well, Jimmy, I believe you either have it or you don't. I do think that you can do some things within your footwork in order to improve your accuracy, but we see a lot of guys, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre over the years, guys who are off balance and are still able to put the ball where they want to. I think as it relates to Dak Prescott, in addition, he's always going to have some issues, relatively speaking, with accuracy. But the biggest thing that I see with him right now is there's not a lot of anticipation in terms of getting the ball out. And if you get the ball out sooner, then you can be a little bit more inaccurate with some of those throws because the ball is going to be on the receivers a little bit sooner and they can make those adjustments. So I think this is still a bit of a work in progress for him, but we'll see how he's able to finish up this season, and they're going to need him to play his best football here going forward for sure.
I want to agree with Troy on that quickly and just add that a great quarterback doesn't miss players that are wide open. We've seen far too many players that are wide open, and Prescott misses them. A lot of times, take a lot less air out of the ball and drill it to at least make the completion.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Troy. Have a great call today.
Okay, so there you have it. We have our people that have been there and done that and know everything about football there. So as we go through, let me go ahead and tick off everybody now, because as they pointed out that Troy Aikman is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. And that is, beyond approach. I mean, we all know that he was one of the best. So the question is can Dak Prescott get to that kind of a level? And this is kind of amazing when you think about the numbers. I'm sorry, I meant to get one other stat here, and I forgot to pull it up. But here's the thing. Hypothetically, I know Troy Aikman's time in the NFL was a little bit different game. Now because of the rule changes and things that, passing is easier. I know, I understand that. I get that. Okay, let's just humor me now, okay? You can go ahead and dispute what I say. Go ahead and leave in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong on this. But it is a different game. But if we were to just take what Dak Prescott has done this season so far, okay? The 2,777 yards, the 18 TDs, the 9 interceptions. If we were to say that this is a full season, here's some interesting things for you. In Troy Aikman's 12 seasons of playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, which is the only team he played for, only 5 more seasons did Troy Aikman have more yardage than what Dak has this year already. Only 5. That's it. When you look at Dak having 18 TDs right now, would it surprise you if I told you that the most accurate quarterback in football, or the Dallas Cowboys, only had 2 seasons where he had more touchdown passes than 18? He had 19 and 23. That's it. And I know we can still go back to and say, yeah, well, it's a different era, and look at the team that he has around him. Well, last I checked, Michael Irvin was a Hall of Famer, as well as Emmitt Smith, as well as Larry Allen and himself, along with Charles Haley. That's 5 Hall of Famers off of one team, and the best defense in football. I know, and still some people are going to be out there, you're an idiot, it's blasphemy. But here's where we can really start digging into deeper, because the yardage part, I get it. I know it's a different game. And it looks like Dak Prescott has the possibility of breaking Tony Romo's single-season yardage passing record. Tony Romo's best season was 1903. Right now, Dak is getting close to averaging 5,000 for the season, which is unbelievable from where we were last year. But here's the thing. Troy Aikman had 161 TD passes to 141 interceptions. So every time he threw a TD pass, 0.87, let me make sure I said this right. If you threw one touchdown pass, he threw 0.87 interceptions. So if he threw 2 touchdown passes, basically he threw an interception and a half. Does that make sense? Or every 4 touchdown passes, he would have thrown 3 interceptions. Does that surprise you at all? On the flip side now Dak hasn't finished his 4th year. Dak Prescott has over half the touchdown passes right now that Troy Aikman has. He has 85 touchdown passes. We're not talking about the other 21 rushing TDs, or is it more? I think it's 21 rushing TDs. We're not even talking about those. But here's the great thing about this, because Troy Aikman, most accurate quarterback the Cowboys ever had. Dak Prescott's ratio would be 0.4, excuse me. So every touchdown that Dak Prescott throws, basically he throws a 0.4 interception. So if he throws 2 TD passes, he's throwing 0.8 interception. Okay? So for every 3 touchdown passes, he's throwing a little bit more than 1. That's a much better ratio than almost 1-to-1, wouldn't you think? Now, here's another one to kind of put out there and things, and I know people will dispute this, but here's another interesting statistic, which is touchdown percentage. Troy Aikman, 3.5%. So 3.5% of the time when he throws a pass, it's going to be a touchdown. His interception ratio would be 0.3. 3% of the time, he would throw an interception. As we look at Dak Prescott's, this is amazing. His number is 4.7. His interception, 1.9. So Troy Aikman, 3.5, 4.7. Interception ratio, 3, 1.9. Does that change your mind any? Now, you heard them say, well, they don't have the check downs like you didn't have the check downs like they did. So he's saying basically you had to throw the ball down the field. Interestingly enough, Troy Aikman's yard per pass average for his career was 7 yards. The best year that he ever had, it was 7.9. And right now, let me go back through. I'm sorry, I forgot to have this one up. Right now, even with Dak's regression, he averages 7.6, which is almost half a yard more, more than half a yard more than Troy Aikman has in his career. And that's even when we looked at Dak and said he was garbage. But as we look to this year, it's unbelievable. 8.7. The highest Troy Aikman ever had was 7.9. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is Troy Aikman, but you can start putting him in the conversation, because by the end of this year, his 4th year, Dak will be almost halfway yardage-wise to where Troy Aikman was for his whole career with the Dallas Cowboys. That, to me, is an amazing feat. And you have to start giving Dak a little bit of credit. Now, I know you guys are going to say I'm crazy. It's not the first time. But it's funny because guys like Joseph Collin on Twitter, he used to talk about how bad Dak was and he'd trade him for a ham sandwich. He's kind of come back around on my side of things over there, and kind of realizing this guy is the real deal. Forget the stuff you hear out there. The numbers don't lie. But we'll find out, won't we? We'll give it another 10 years and see where he sits with the all-time Dallas Cowboy greats. Tomorrow's a big day. Cowboys take on the Lions. Eagles take on New England. And we'll be watching, of course, New England to see what chance the Cowboys have. And we'll find out what the real deal is with New England. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you're having a great evening, and I'll see you soon.